Alright. So...
Did I leave the stove on?
Today, we're talking about Superman 2, but not the original, the Richard Donner cut. Hello, Ryan. We picked the Richard Donner cut because me and Ryan both agree is a better version than the original Superman 2. And there's more to talk about it. Most people see Superman 1 and 2 as the best Superman movies, the good ones. And when I watched the original Superman movie, I was like, yeah, this is a great movie. And then I watched the original Superman 2 right after that, and I was like, alright. Now, maybe at its time it was seen as a lot better.
Right.
Then I saw this, and I was like, oh, this is much better.
Richard Donner he knows where he wants the story to go, and that's obvious if you compare the versions. That's why I prefer the Richard Donner cut. This other guy, he didn't even know much about Superman when he got hired, and I think that's such a huge mistake.
They need to have some knowledge of what they're adapting.
Exactly. And Richard Donner clearly knew the character, and he clearly knew the stories, and it shows. So his cut is much better, and I appreciate it more. Christopher Reeve, he'll most likely always be the best because he plays both parts so well. And I don't know if that's because he had more time as Clark Kent, or it's just more believable that a guy like him is Clark Kent. There's no way I'm going to think that Henry Cavill is going to get beat up. Christopher Reeve is just... You believe when he's the nerdy guy getting picked on and beat up, and you also believe he is the superhero as soon as he puts on that cape.
I still love Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor in this movie.
I appreciated him a lot more. He was in the movie less. and that's not like a...
Take that for what it is.
Yeah, I love Gene Hackman, and I love Lex Luthor, but I needed a break. Like I said in the review, to me, he was a little too over the top. Mm-hmm. In Superman 2, he was definitely toned down, and I appreciated that more.
I like that he's kind of the brains of the operation. Because Zod, Nan, and Ursa, they're the muscle that want to fight Superman. That's their reasoning, mostly. Right. And they just want to rule the Earth. And Lex is like, well, these guys can actually fight Superman. So he plays it safe and convinces him to work for him, basically, and work with him. That's a better Lex Luthor role in this case. I think it works better. That he's more of a mastermind, not doing anything physical. He's kind of working against Superman by using Superman's enemies to get what he wants. I fucking love Zod in this movie. I love him so much. He's awesome.
What I liked about his version of Zod was that he was so narrow-minded. It's like...
He wanted one thing.
I'm going to destroy Superman, and I'm going to take over the world. And that's awesome. Like, I love villains that, like, know what they want. Like, I don't need convoluted plots. Let me kidnap this dog, and then I'll take over the world.
They don't need like
the galaxy.
They don't need like a set of dominoes and knock it over until it makes like a big ass shape. They're just like, no, just one straight line and. Bloop. I think this is much faster paced than the first Superman movie. I think this is a good sequel because it doesn't go meander to get the runtime. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to do in this movie, and the movie knows we can't just sit around and let scenes linger too long.
Right.
Like the Lois and Clark stuff. In the original sequel, there's a whole attack on Paris, and that's where she first starts suspecting, Superman and Clark or whatever. And then, but that's completely taken out of this movie. The opening is completely different. It's kind of shortened down in this version but they do like a previously on Superman thing. I still think the visuals hold up pretty well for the most part. One of my favorite visuals in the whole movie is actually the opening where they get sent to the Phantom Zone, Zod and Non and Ursa, when the roof is coming out and the light stream just points up. I really love that shot. It looks really cool. And like it's slow and like it's just building up to them being sucked up into like the little glass triangle.
Yeah.
I don't know, I really like that.
I mean, my favorite shot would probably be the kneel before Zod scene when he has like Superman's hand and like he's actually making him kneel. I'm like, oh shit, this is a badass dude. Like, we need to watch out.
This version, especially, it's actually really funny. I laughed quite a few times while watching this.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was really funny.
I didn't laugh.
You didn't think it was funny?
I mean, it probably was, but maybe I just...
Like...
I don't know, I wasn't thinking of it like
I love the scene where, because Ursa finds the astronaut, she keeps ripping badges off of people that she likes the badge. Like, she rips off the dude's NASA badge. She rips off the fucking dude's, like, general stars. That was a little funny touch. So they think Earth is called Houston. So whenever they refer to Earth, they constantly call it Houston.
I mean the whole planet.
The whole planet Houston?
Earth. The whole planet Earth.
Until they're corrected.
Yeah.
I thought that was adorable. How Lois finds out Clark is Superman, she just straight up fucking shoots him. I mean, it's a blank.
Okay, yeah.
It's a blank. But she straight up fucking shoots him. I was like, oh. It's like in the Justice League trailer when Batman throws the fucking batarang at Flash. Like, thank God you're right.
Yeah, because if
you're not
Flash, you just killed a kid.
No, I think there's a lot of good lines in this movie.
Gee, that's funny. Never seen garbage eat garbage before.
Fucking Superman coming in with the sick burns. I think the action's pretty fun. When they're fighting in the city and everything. I mean, they kind of float around a little bit because it's like they're still on wires and everything. The green screen's kind of hit and miss.
It's a little dated.
It's a little dated. I mean, I'm still having fun watching it. What I like about this movie, just like the first one, whenever the emotion, like whenever you're supposed to like really feel a moment, you feel it. Mm-hmm. Like when he gives up his powers for Lois, you understand his reasoning. You may or may not agree with what he's doing, but you get it.
Exactly. That's one of my biggest parts of this movie, is because I'm like, man, this little alien boy, he's all in love and stuff. Good for him. You go, Cal. But I'm like, would I ever give up superpowers? Nope. Man, you suck for giving up all those powers. You could do so much good, but you're giving up for this one person. And like you said, I feel for the guy because he's lonely. He really connects with Lois, and he needs a normal life. But the kid in me
wants him to be Superman.
Yeah, it's like, no, you are Superman, you bastard.
Okay, this is where the spoilers come up. So I'm gonna play a little spoiler thing. I hate both endings of Superman 2. I hate both versions.
Really?
I hate both of them. If you watch the original version, it's the fucking mind-melding kiss. That is probably one of the dumbest things. How does that even work? How does Superman kiss a person where they just forget?
Yeah.
How does that even get close to working? I want someone to comment and explain how that fucking works, so I'll know and I don't have to be upset about it.
They put some of that stuff from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, like, on their lips.
You know what? Fuck it. Might as well. But in the Richard Donner cut, they changed it to where, again, flying around the Earth, reversing time, and it seems like, okay, why doesn't he just always fucking do that? Because it's the second time he does it. Mm. If it's the second time and that's the second way you end a movie, why should I care about anything that happens? Because anytime a bad thing comes up, why doesn't he just fly around the fucking Earth and be like, okay, I'll go to where the problem is, going backwards and make it not happen?
Right.
He just do that every time. Every time. Like, maybe the flying around the Earth thing would be fine if it was, like, just the first movie.
Yeah.
And the sequel, the original sequel, was like, yeah, we'll replace it with a stupid amnesia kiss. But hey, it's different.
I prefer the kiss because Don't judge me.
I'm not judging. I'm shocked.
I only prefer the kiss because I hate time travel. I will accept it in some cases.
If it's done well.
Yes.
And if it's not like an excuse, like
Right.
a cop-out.
Which is what Superman did in this film. He was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back in time.
Yeah, make the whole Zod thing not happen at all.
To your point, I don't like movies where it's like, if I am not invested in any of the consequences,
Because there's clearly a way around it.
yeah, I just don't care. Which is why I think the first Superman movie is so much better, because I didn't know about the whole time travel thing. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
So when you see the sequel, do it again.
So I'm like, come on, Clark.
I can't decide which one I like more because, again, the flying around the Earth makes more sense than the kiss.
Yeah.
But the kiss is at least a different ending. Yeah, there has to be, like, both movies, he gets around it. And that he has no consequences for what his actions are. At least in Man of Steel and, like, the DC series now, they do bring it up.
Yeah.
Like, there are repercussions for his actions. The problem I have with these older movies is that they don't do that. He does do something, there is big conflict, but then he gets rid of it.
Yeah.
So, they're not perfect, but by the end of the day, I think they're still great movies. So, two things I want to bring up. That fucking kid at the waterfall.
Oh my god.
Fuck that kid. Who the fuck goes to Niagara Falls to dangle on the fucking railing?
I mean, that sounds like a regular Tuesday for me, but...
Okay, besides you. And the parents are just like,
Stop, don't come back.
and then he fucking like, oh, I fell. Like, yeah, no fucking shit. You were like on a waterfall and you shocked you fell. Thank God Superman was there. Also, did you hear what Lois wanted Clark to get for her while he went to go to the stand?
No.
He was like, I'm gonna get myself a hot dog. She's like, I'll have a hot dog. You know what that motherfucker wanted to drink? She said, oh, and an orange juice. Who the fuck eats hot dogs and orange juice at the same time unless they're terrorists?
I mean,
because no real person does that.
you're not wrong.
Goddamn right.
If you could take one out of the movie, which one would it be?
Fucking orange juice. Fucking taste
Does that
shit.
bother you that much?
It's weird. The kid jumping around on the railing, that could happen. It's fucking stupid, but kids are just stupid sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes parents are negligent.
Yeah.
But no one ever eats hot dogs and drinks orange juice and is like, yeah, that's a lunch.
If you eat hot dogs and drink orange juice...
Like, comment, and subscribe. Final thoughts on the movie? Any at all? Last things you want to say?
I like it.
I thought it was really...
But it just wasn't Superman 1.
I do think the first one's better.
Mhm.
But I still think this is a pretty good movie. So I give it a... Boom. 2 in a row. Not for much longer.
It goes downhill from here.
Yeah. Superman 3 is next, and we're not happy about that. So we'll see you guys next time.